In 1992, researchers asked people about the exact moment they heard about a disaster. Then they asked again 3 years later. The details had completely changed. Not vague memories, vivid ones. The kind where you can still picture the room, the exact words, the exact feeling. The kind you'd bet anything on. But how sure you feel about a memory has almost nothing to do with how accurate it actually is. That certainty isn't proof. It's just what strong emotion feels like from the inside. If vividness isn't the signal you think it is, what is your brain actually doing when it hands that memory back to you? Picture two siblings arguing about a family dinner from years ago. One insists their father said something cruel. The other insists he never did. Both are certain. Neither is lying. Here's what's actually happening. Memory isn't a recording you replay. It's something your brain rebuilds piece by piece every single time you reach for it. And each time it's rebuilt, new material can slip in. Which raises a harder question. If your brain is rebuilding the memory, where does the missing material come from? Psychologists call this the source monitoring error. Your brain stores information, but it doesn't reliably tag where that information came from. A detail you lived through and a detail you only heard about later can end up feeling identical. Your brain treats both as if you were there. This idea traces back to a concept researchers named flashbulb memory. It describes the intensely vivid recollections we form around emotional, high-stakes moments. Psychologists Roger Brown and James Kulik described how these memories feel almost photographic, burned in with unusual clarity. Research consistently suggests that this vividness comes from emotional intensity, not from careful, accurate recording. Go back to that 1992 study. Researchers asked people how they first heard about the Challenger disaster, right after it happened. Years later, they asked the same people again. Many described the moment with just as much confidence, sometimes more. But the actual content had shifted. People placed themselves in different rooms with different people. They described hearing the news in ways that didn't match what they'd originally reported. And almost none of them noticed the gap. They weren't lying either. Their brains had simply rebuilt the scene, filled in what felt plausible, and handed it back labeled the truth. That's not the whole picture, though. Research suggests the general shape of an emotional memory, where you were, roughly what happened, tends to stay fairly stable over time. It's the specific details, the exact words, the exact order of events that are most likely to quietly shift. That's why two people can walk away from the same conversation with two different memories. Both still feel completely certain. They're not measuring accuracy. They're measuring how strongly they felt in that moment and mistaking that feeling for proof. That mistake has a cost. In close relationships, memory often gets used as evidence, as if being certain settles who's right. A partner says, "I remember exactly what you said," and treats that certainty as the final word. But certainty was never a reliable witness. It only tells you the moment mattered. It doesn't tell you the details survived intact. What do you actually do with this? Not distrust every memory you have. Most of what you remember is close enough, and most days don't need forensic accuracy. But when a memory becomes the center of an argument, especially an old one, pause for a second. Don't automatically treat your version as fact, and theirs as the lie. Ask what you actually witnessed versus what you've absorbed since. A story told at a family gathering. A detail someone else repeated so often it started to feel like your own. The next time you feel completely sure about some old emotional detail, notice that. That confidence isn't a reason to trust it more. If anything, it's worth a second look. The moments we feel most certain about are often the ones our mind has quietly rewritten the most. And if memory can rebuild itself this convincingly, that raises a bigger question. What else in how you see the world might be reconstructed, not remembered?